Measure. The tools required for measurement include micrometer, vernier caliper, dial indicator, feeler. Measure the crankshaft main journal. Main spindle diameter standard value 111.987 mm to 112.013 mm. Measure the crankshaft connecting rod journal. Standard value 89.987 mm to 90.013. Camshaft measurement. Measure the camshaft journal. Standard value 55.56 mm to 55.60 mm. Measure the highest point diameter of the camshaft intake cam. Standard value 46.820 mm to 46.895 mm. Measure the highest point diameter of the camshaft exhaust cam. Standard value 45.194 mm to 45.194 mm. Main bearing measurement. Measure the thickness of the main bearing using a micrometer with a spherical outer diameter ranging from 0 to 25 mm. Standard value 2.950 mm to 2.966 mm. Measurement of piston pin liner. Measure the inner diameter of the piston pin liner using an inner diameter gauge. Standard value 58.052 mm to 58.064 mm. Measure the outer diameter of the piston pin. Standard value 57.997 mm to 58.004 mm. Measure the piston pin aperture. Standard value 58.015 mm to 58.021 mm. Measurement of piston ring opening clearance. When checking the piston ring clearance, install the piston rings into the new cylinder liner. Use the top of the piston to correctly fit the piston ring into the cylinder liner. Measure the piston ring clearance using a feeler gauge. Standard value of the first piston ring 0.35 mm to 0.55 mm. Measure the gap between the opening of the second piston ring. Standard value 1.85 mm to 2.15 mm. Measure the gap between the oil ring openings. Standard value 0.40 mm to 0.65 mm. Use a precision ruler or equivalent to check the flatness of the top surface of the cylinder block. The total flatness of the top surface of the cylinder head must be within 0.15 mm. The variation within 50 mm diameters cannot exceed 0.025 mm. Measurement of torsional shock absorbers. Measure the thickness of the torsional shock absorber using a vernier caliper at 4 o'clock on the dividing circle. The change in thickness cannot exceed 0.25 mm. If it exceeds the limit, it needs to be replaced.